All right, welcome everybody in to the FloTrack podcast. I'm Kevin. He's Gordon. We are getting ready for the men's final. We're doing a live podcast on YouTube. Remember, subscribe on the FloTrack podcast YouTube page. As you can see, the projections are already on the board. Gordon has been very busy. Gordon, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good. Yesterday we did a podcast last night, so hopefully you got that content in. Now it's old news because we're getting ready for the finals today, and I'm excited for the action. I mean, obviously on the men's side, the Oregon men is going to be the story to watch, and whoever the top sprinters come out. But ultimately, I'm just most excited for there to be track and field with something on the line. It's not just a time trial. It's not some race run in the middle of nowhere in Southern California. There's actual reasons to win and lose. So I'm most excited about that. And this is going to be fun because we're going to do this for the next 2 hours for the men's races. Then we're going to come back for the women's races. And then we're going to do it again on Monday for the cross-country championships. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I think you can chat with us. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're trying to make this thing awesome and big. It's going to be fun. It's going to be wild. While you're watching NCAAs, watch it with us, and we'll give our live takes, reactions, and commentary. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, this is what you're going to see the entire stream. You're not going to see the meat on this page. You're going to see the projections. You're going to see me and Gordon talking about what you're watching. So flip it on one screen, and then you can watch us on the other screen. If you missed the Friday session of NCAAs, we can do a quick recap on the men's side of things as we are getting ready for the men's finals. Wesley Kiptoo wore gloves and dominated the 5K. A lot of other people got PRs in the 5K. The Oregon men looked really good top to bottom. Cooper Tier controlled the DMR and split about a 3:53, and they cruised on to the final day of action. To me, that was day 2 of NCAAs. I keep wanting to call it day 1, but we had the extended day this year because of the restrictions in the building because of COVID-19. What other highlights did you have on the men's side yesterday, Gordon?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, though. There weren't any other crazy highlights because, again, a lot of sprint events and mid-distance events, it's all just about getting onto the final, and that's when people are really going to show up. But if you look at our screen, we have this cool graphic that I created. I'm very proud of it. On, I guess, your left side of the screen, we're going to have latest results of the most recent finals that just went final. And then underneath, we're going to be live tracking the team score via projections. Now, this isn't the team score right now. This is the team score that we project when you account for all of the other events still left on the docket. You can see the remaining events left on the docket right now. You have triple jump, then mile, 60, 400, and as you go. So we'll be able to really understand where the team battle is without just looking at the current score. We're going to look at what the score likely will become when you account for all of Oregon's 3K runners and their 800-meter runners. So you just want to account for all that. And if you look at it right now, Oregon is projected to have a massive win over LSU, 72-51. And then there's a close tie for third between Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, A&T, and then a couple teams, A&T. And then there's a couple other teams right there in 6th and 8th. So we'll update it as every race becomes final, so you can kind of keep a pulse of the team battle. But yeah, looking to yesterday, you can look on your screen, that men's 5K results. Look at that. 8th place was 13:33. That's insane. I mean, why? I mean, we know we're not allowed to talk about it. I mean, Robert Johnson said we're not allowed to talk about it. But shoes, right? Is it the shoes? Is it? I don't think it's the shoes, for the record. I just think it's people are trying to just running to their ability with rest, and they're not lollygaggling running 1350s anymore. They're like, let's go for it. But it is incredible. If someone said this was the performance we would get, you would be like, what? You would think it's like an all-time deep field of like the greatest future Olympians of all time. But in reality, this is just the new norm, is that you got to be a 1330 guy, not even maybe a sub 1330 guy to be all-American caliber in this era.
Yeah, and as I mentioned yesterday, Kip2 ran that and was never challenged. After the mile, the people who tried to go with him went backwards. And this was a men's 5,000 without the BYU men, who all ran 13:20 high or 13 right at 13:30 in a meet earlier this year. Did not have the NAU men as well. So we don't want to get greedy, but if you were to go back in time and somehow move the cross country championships later and you had NAU and BYU in here, I think you're right. We would be talking more and more about an all-time race. And Kip2 probably would have been pushed a bit more, although he looked so calm, so relaxed, wearing his gloves and cruising to the victory. You mentioned we got the chat going here. We got a question there. Who's your pick to win the men's team title? If people are looking at the screen, though, I think they're putting money on Oregon. I don't think they're going to go the other way unless someone wants to make a really compelling argument for LSU or Florida.
Yeah, and as we say that, Oregon's triple jumper is now in the lead. So their team projection of 72 is now 74 because we have him getting second. Now he's going to get first potentially. So, yeah, it is, unless something crazy happens, Oregon is going to run with the team title. I do think on the women's side, the team battle is going to be much closer between Arkansas and A&M, and they both have the two best 4x4s, Arkansas and A&M. So we could see it come down to the 4x4 on the women's side. On the men's side, I think Oregon's just going to wrap it up after that 3K if everything goes as planned. But as you know, anything can happen.
Maybe
Yeah.
Can they get it before the 3K? I haven't looked at the actual like who has what left, but will they even need to run the 3K because with Iemeje, if he gets 10 points there, if Hawker and Brown score big in the 8, Charlie Hunter Hawker and Brown in the mile, and then Charlie Hunter in the 800. I mean, I'm sure they'll need something. I don't think that they can just get 15th and 16th and be fine. But that'll be the true test of Oregon's dominance in this meet, is how much do they actually need from Cooper Tier and Cole Hawker, their two big distance stars in that penultimate event. Oregon too. Okay, you got Michael Williams, freshman in the 60, and you got Iemeje, freshman in the triple jump. And we know that their distance program is not going to go away. So we could be looking at the beginning of a big streak here, Gordon, for the Oregon men indoors.
Yeah, and Robert Johnson said in his press conference interview about why they didn't why these distance guys aren't doing cross country. They thought we need to go all in on the sport that we think we have the best chance of winning. And in this case, based off of the bodies they had in the sprint events, in their horizontal jump events, and ultimately their strong distance crew, they realize that combination can win a national title and has a higher chance of winning one than they do going up against an NAU or BYU in cross country. And right now, his calculation seems to be paying off because they are heavy favorites going into the finals.
Yeah.
And I think they'll take getting a national title over finishing 6th at NCAA Cross. So, hey,
and if you look,
it worked for them.
Yeah, and if you look at it from a fan's perspective, what are we going to lose out on having these meets back to back? It's tough to, hindsight's always 20/20, but obviously you'd like to see Cooper Tier fresh in Stillwater on Monday, mixing it up with those guys. But everything else, because we're going to get Kip2 coming back, I think we're still going to have a really great cross country championship on Monday. And obviously that 5,000 last night would have been deeper, and the 3K would be deeper. But I mean, Oregon obviously maximized what they set out to do, and I think BYU and NAU are going to do the same thing. I want to ask you, what do you think about this schedule? Now, it's not an ideal schedule. It's especially not an ideal schedule for athletes who want to double. But from a fan's perspective, I mean, this whole meet it's 90 minutes today for the men.
It's like a Diamond League.
We're so used. Yeah, Diamond League's even longer though when you. Well, I guess it depends if you count the stuff that's outside the TV window. But this is like boom, 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 one after the other, after the other. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Ambivalent?
I think the thing I'm going to like most about it is the mile goes off in about 5 minutes from now. hopefully by the time the mile goes off, I think we will be close to having all of the field event points already accounted for. And what I love about that is that means you just know you only need to look at one area of the venue, and you know that's where all the points are coming from. That's where all the championships are coming from. You don't need to be looking to your left to look at a triple jump runway or a pole vault or a high jump or a throw going on in the backyard. You just have to you don't need to follow two different things or three different things at once. You just get to follow the one thing, and it's a lot easier to follow.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they should need to figure out a better way to how to give the field events love and without taking away from like the track events. I mean, you look at what was happening. I mean, no, Wesley Kiptoo was running 13:23. He was going out in world record pace, and they cut away like multiple times to do field event coverage. And the field event coverage needs to be covered. They deserve all the love, but like they need to find a way to time it. So like give the field event coverage its love, then give the track event coverage its love. And with this new setup, we're going to kind of get that in these finals because there are going to be no like dramatic triple jump, high jump last round finals going on during the middle of a 400 or an 800 or a 3K.
Yeah, I remember that at the old Hayward Field, the last meet at Hayward Field, 2018 women's race, right? There was a lot of teams in it, and the discus and the 5,000 were going on. Stanford was still in the mix. They dropped out, which ultimately set up for USC perfectly and Kendall Ellis's comeback. All that was magnified by all these things that were going on in field events and also obviously on the track in that 5,000. You say that, but I don't think they're going to go back to the old ways. When we talked to the coaches at the press conference, everybody was very much in a hurry to get back to the pre-COVID schedules.
What about this, though? As much as we're like, do you focus on indoor or cross country? Wouldn't it be kind of, how would you think about this? Would you be okay with them getting rid of the 3K and maybe get rid of the 3K and the 5K? I don't know. But basically turning the cross country championships into an event that scores points towards the indoor title.
No. Vetoing that immediately. No.
Why not?
What I think would be more constructive is just a few tweaks around the margins of indoors to do things like you said, where if you can finish field events in a certain time, so that way it's a little bit more user friendly. No, cross country's in the fall. It belongs in the fall. I know internationally and at the pro level they run it in the winter, but hey, I grew up in the United States where the leaves were changing colors and I was running really slow 5Ks, and that means something, Gordon, and I want to keep that going. Yeah. No, keep them separate. But here's the thing, though. A lot of coaches were complaining that they're on the same weekend. But again, I'm just really appreciative that we have both of them. It's not perfect, but can you imagine if there was a week and then cross country? What would happen? Do you think we'd get more participation at the top level? I think conventional wisdom says, oh, yeah, because it's not back to back. But then you're just stretching out this peak competition for a whole week, and then you have people who want to get on with outdoors and reset and get ready, and a lot of people have Olympic trials ambitions as well, right? Wouldn't that be a little too much?
Yeah, and I think the coaches have their argument like, hey, they had to pick one or the other, but from a fan perspective, being able to watch, prelims on a Friday, finals on a Saturday, then a cross-country championship on a Monday, it is definitely entertaining for track fans to have it all together. I mean, this goes towards my ultimate desire is that I think we should start hosting worlds in 4 days with at the same way Masters and like all the golf tournaments, there are 4 days events, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I think we could do that. And you make Sunday the marathon day. So you have your track meet leading up to the marathon day. I think that would be the ultimate way to present a track meet at a championship level. 4 days outdoor, end it with the marathon. And you're kind of getting somewhat like that here with 3 days of indoor, end it with a cross country championship.
Cross
It's
country
kind
race.
of
Yeah,
close to my ultimate dream of how I think a track meet should be presented. But
Mhm.
what it is, what it
All
is. All right, dude. It's almost 2 Central. The men are on the track. Who do you got? Who do you
Yeah.
think is going to win?
I'm gonna go with Cole Hawker to win. He looked really good in the prelim yesterday, cruising through, and also Sam Tanner is out. Obviously, the UW collegiate record holder. Who do you got? There's Waleed Suleiman though, and I have him on my cross country fantasy team that I drafted on Wednesday, so I want him to do well too because I'm thinking selfishly.
Well, I want to pick Hawker, but for the argument's sake, I think if we're gonna get an upset, if Hawker doesn't win, I think the person who will win is the freshman from Texas, Yusuf Bizamana. Bizamana? I don't know how to say his last name. He's from Europe. He's a freshman from
Okay.
Texas. He looked good at the Big 12 championship against I can't do these names, man. Take Hadeli from Texas Tech, the
Taki
Angelina
Hadeli.
runner. Taki Hadeli. He looked good against him. So he's giving me my low-key sleeper, Bizamana.
Mhm.
I can't say words, man. This is gonna be bad.
I think it's Bismana. I think it's Bismana.
There we go.
Yeah, we got a poll going on. Who do you think will win the mile race? Again, subscribe if you're on the page right now. Subscribe to the FloTrack podcast YouTube page. Daniel commented in. He says this is actually a much more fan pleasing way to run it. I think he's talking about the Titan schedule, and I would agree with him on that as well.
Hey, Bismana and Hawker currently 1-2 through the first 400. Looking pretty good. So about 60 seconds through the 400. So 4-minute pace.
Yeah, so this looking more like the second heat of the men's mile yesterday than the first, although when you have those two of the favorites up near the front, you're probably going to get something. Well, you don't know. Maybe they'll slow it down. Is that Iliad Kipsang there as well? We broke down his amazing SEC DMR a couple weeks ago on the pod, so he's going to be one to watch for as well. Do you think? I mean, Hawker. It's just amazing how quickly he rose to where he's at, and I guess because of the COVID season, we didn't get to see him last year. But it's just remarkable that this guy's the favorite to win the NCAA mile title, based on where he was this time last year. I mean, obviously a stud coming out of high school, but who had him tabbed for potential NCAA champion this year? Not many people.
So that looks like they're staying even 2 flat through 800. Hawker in the lead. Kipsang second. Bismana in second. In third. My low key sleeper pick from Texas.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking at the comments here. Hold on. Did Fogg make the final? Yes, Fogg did make the final from Drake. And then Naruto, the boss, is saying, watch out for Sean Dolan. So there we go.
Yeah, Sean Dolan, son of Steve Dolan, the coach at UPenn.
Mm-hmm. Fogg's
he was able to get his son to go to school in Philadelphia, but not his school. He stayed in Villanova instead of UPenn.
Oh, man. Hawker just trying to control this from the front, which is to be a power move, kind of similar to how Cooper Tier did it in the DMR yesterday. Kipsang in second.
It feels like he's just slowly trying to. It looks like he's picking it up, but it's not really that much faster, right? There were 3 flat through 1200.
Yeah. No, this is close to identical, it feels like, from how Cooper Tier did it. Obviously, Cooper Tier had a baton in his hand, and there was teams that were having to make up the gap, but he's just ratcheting up the pace little by little. I'm interested to see this split here, right? Because they were right at about 3 minutes with 2 to go.
Fogg is still in there in third. Kipsang trying to hold on. Oh, dude, Hawker's he's at another level right now. He just went to the front.
28. Yeah.
Damn. Oh.
340 on the clock. Jeez.
He definitely knows what he's doing. Went from the front. He definitely has the best kick. Just drops the field. He's going to run well. He's going to run a pretty good time. 3:53.
3:54. Oh, wow.
Dude, he closed fast. What was his close? Because they were like 3 flat through 1200.
Yeah, he closed in right about 53 seconds. I had him at about 28 before that. So it's a 28 and a 25. Would that be right for the last 200? 20. I gotta get the live results
Dude, that was
up
a
here
meet
right
record.
now, and I know how much you love meet records, so that's got to make you really excited.
So let's update
If only you guys had somebody in your life who was passionate as Gordon is about telling me about how much he loves meet records. No, this was literally the same playbook with Cooper Chair. If you
Yeah,
go back
and it
and put
worked to
those races
perfection.
on top of each other, and they worked in both cases. Okay, so yeah, 27.61 and then 25.87 last 2 laps.
Yeah, I got the results on
Yeah,
the
so
screen for you so you can see them.
53. I'm just looking at the chat right now. Travis doing a good job updating in the chat. Okay, so that does not change your projections though, right? Because you had Hawker winning, and did Reed Brown score or no? I didn't. Did
Yeah,
not
look at
even.
the screen.
Did not
I
even.
got the results on the screen, buddy.
Oh, you got him. Oh, you're saying that screen. Sorry, there's too many screens in front of me. Okay, so Brown, man, he got 5th, just ahead of Dolan, the freshman, 357.91 there. Kipsang, good run. So you got a sophomore and a freshman going 1-2. Suleiman in 3rd. Big run for Fogg. Shout out to Adam Ostrike and Drake. And then you have Sean Dolan in 5th. Or sorry, in 6th behind Reed Brown. And then Bismana in 8th. So there's the projections. Gordon, up to the minute projections there. Now, those aren't the actual points, guys. Oregon doesn't have 75 right now. That's what Gordon is forecasting they will have by the end of the meet.
But literally
So
in the past, 3 minutes, they got 13 points in the mile and another 10 points in the triple jump. Their freshman won the triple jump. I think it's Oregon record. So they're looking good. They're not going to just it's going to be hard for LSU.
Yeah.
I mean, LSU needed something big from their freshman in the triple jump. He ended up getting 5th, that Dixon Bodie kid. He got 5th. They need something more. It's going to be hard for LSU. Doesn't really have much left to really move up. I mean, I have them winning the 200, but that's and doing well in the 60 hurdles, but it's going to be hard for them to catch Oregon right now.
You mentioned Ia Meje with the U of O record. Chris Hansen of the registered guard said that he set the U of O record earlier this season at 53:10 and a quarter imperial marks for you. I know track fans on here want metric. He says he surpassed that mark 3 times so far today. So just goes to show how good of a meet he had there. What do we got next? Let's look at this. Look at this schedule here.
Got the 60.
So the event, yeah, the events remaining. You got the pole vault, 60, 400, 60 hurdles, 800, 200, 3K, 4x4. Cole Hawker, though, and Cooper Tier, quite the duo there. And we're going to see him at the end of the meet. Here's the tough part, though. Cole Hawker's got to get that mile out of his legs pretty quickly because we, the fans, love this schedule. But this is where it gets tough for the athletes because ordinarily he'd have a lot more time to get ready. But as it stands right now, how much time does he have? 3 p.m. Central is when the 3K goes off. So
like
52 minutes.
Yeah, 52 minutes.
So he's going to go straight. He's getting interviewed by John Anderson. He's going straight to cool down. I don't even know how long of a cool down you do because then does it bleed right into your warm up? Is it, I don't know, like when you have, is it brunch? You know, it's not quite breakfast, not quite lunch. I don't know what he's going to do to get ready, but he's going to probably going to feel that towards the latter half of the 3K. So if he can finish second to Tier, that would be a massive accomplishment because the doubles are a lot harder this year.
I mean, I could see them not even running him in the 3K if it turns out they have big enough lead. I mean, right now they're projected to win by 24 points. They're not going to need the 6 to 8 points that Hawker will provide in the 3K. So I could see them scratching him. I could see that happening.
Yeah. So basically what I was talking about before might come to fruition where Oregon doesn't even need the 3K at all to win this meet.
And if that happens, do you think they regret not running cross country? Because that means Cooper Tier, all he had to do was run 1,600 meters
Put
on a
Cole Hawker
Friday.
on a
On a
plane to
Friday,
Stillwater right now. Just run straight to
like
Stillwater. Go out of the warm-up track, take a left, get on the highway, go to Stillwater, see if they'll let you in the meet.
that's why I didn't understand why they didn't. They should at least accepted it and then be like, scratch it. Because if they come out of this not needing to run the 3K, I mean, they're going to run a 3K because they're going to want to win an individual title. But if they were able to do that, you would want to see. I would want to see Cooper Tier in that cross country race to see what he can do against Kip 2 and the BYU and NAU guys.
Do you think all the distance winners should have gotten a bye into Monday's cross country championship?
Ooh, yes, that would have been perfect.
So they didn't even need to bother with the cross country season. Just now, Oregon's team wouldn't have gotten through, but Hawker in the mile, Kip 2's already entered, and then Tier could get his ticket in the 3K at the end of the meet, and then you're all good to go.
I mean, I think Oregon though will have enough individual winners when all is said and done. They probably will be able to field a team of 7 because they might win the 60. They have the triple jump champ, they'll have the mile champ, the 3K champ, the DMR champs. That's 7 people. Boom.
I said just distance. But that would be interesting. But how low could they score, right? You have like 3 All-Americans, and then you have last, second to last, third to last, and fourth to last. How much can you score? No, the rule is on the DMR. If you win the DMR, you can send any one of the 4 people who run it under my rules, my 2020 rules for a meet that will never be duplicated. We're getting set for the 60 now. Camera is set on Michael Williams. They have not moved it away from him. They have found their favorite in this race.
I think he's
Raymond Ekvewo. I remember he looked really good in the prelim. I remember Ekvewo, though, was the guy I picked last year. Now, Michael Williams wasn't there, and the meet was canceled. Just interesting to reflect back on the people who could have won it in 2020 and never got the chance. But yeah, I think Williams, as you mentioned yesterday, so astutely, seems like a natural fit for the 60. Just the way he gets off to a great start and powers away, and by 45 meters, he's pretty away.
Oh, he had a bad start. He's not going to win. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it.
Oh, he is. He's fine.
He had a bad start. That's quick.
Well, it's because I was talking about how great his start was.
What do you run?
Let's get that clock up there. He is obviously fired up.
Dude, this kid might make the Olympic team.
That's the future of the sprints right there. To do that,
6:49
NCAA Championship. Yeah,
6:49.
That was a great. Ekvewo was second.
Yeah, Ekvewo was second. I'll put the results on the screen.
I mean, it didn't look that bad of a start. I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was as good as his prelim start, but it was still obviously good enough there. So Ekvewo, then Rocoy Brathwaite, Tavarius Wright, the top 4. Gordon's. Oh, boom! They're up just like that, and the projections have been updated as well too.
Dude,
Oregon just keeps going up. Oregon just the number gets higher and higher every time you refresh.
Well, it's because I had Michael Williams getting second, and now he wins, so they're just pulling away. I mean, we need to see Michael Williams in this cross country 10K. Like we said, you get a bye if you win. You know what? We'll just create our own team. It doesn't even need to be all Oregon. Mm-hmm. We all 18 team. I guess how many individual
team indoor champs?
There's 16 individual winners, so 2 teams of 8, and then see if they win the cross country title. That's what we need.
Yeah.
So yeah, Oregon now projected with 77, LSU still with 51. Not even close. I mean, Oregon had one of their sprinters get 5th. So
yeah,
they were fine. It's over. We should just
they actually have
stream,
so listen,
move on.
Well, okay, so they have we're not shutting down the stream. Too much work went into this. So they have in real points, they have 51. So you're projecting them to score 26 more points, but it's interesting because you have LSU projected at 51. So basically, if Oregon didn't run anything else, it would be a tie.
Yeah.
But of course, they are going to run. So, what would the next one be where they could clinch it? It would be the 800, correct?
The 800. Yeah. So they have 800
Yeah.
and 3K is their only things left. So
they just need to avoid disaster.
We do have
with those remaining athletes.
Do you have a low key battle though there for the podium spot? Because Florida, Georgia, A&T, they all have 31, and then Arkansas has 29, Florida State 27. Again, these are all projections again. So that means it could come down to the 4x4 at least for who will podium, which is interesting enough. So hey, pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's gonna be no drama for the winner. That's the only. You have to dig deeper into the. You have to go a little bit farther down the start list to find something to get excited about. All right, what's next? Because we got to get prepared now. There's just no lag time here. 400. So there's going to be 2 heats of this because everybody loves 2 heat finals. And the athletes are evenly distributed here. There's no fast heat and slow heat. They're all mixed in together. Number 1 seed got bounced yesterday in this event. So I'm looking for, I don't know, Bryce Dedman looked good. Randolph Ross looked good as well. Trevor Stewart, Ja'Cory Patterson. I guess Dedman be the favorite here.
Yeah, I think so.
Or Ross.
Kind of wild.
Season best or 1/100th apart. So
kind of wild when you look at Bryce Dedman's career. When he got to A&M as like a freshman, A&M is just so good at the quarter mile that they just they just generate 45-second split guys, 46 low split guys every year. They always have like 8 guys, right? And Bryce Dedman was always just like one of the guys who's good, but he's not Fred Curley. He's not, Braylon Taplin. He's not one of those like all-time like, look at me, I can win individually for A&M.
Yeah.
He was just always like the third leg of a 4x4. And now this year has been like his 1 year to like become the guy, and not just the guy at A&M, but the guy nationally. And this could be his chance to get a title for A&M, because when you think of A&M and 400 meter runners, I mean, Deion Lindor, Curley, I mean, even Devin Dixon when it comes to a 4x4 split. Devin Dixon splits like 43 seconds. So A&M and quarter miling, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in, by the way, and all the people commenting. We got some
subscribe.
Folks, subscribe to the FloTrack podcast YouTube page while you're here. Just hit that red button there. We'd appreciate it. Someone mentioned, I'm sure Oregon's throwers are probably sub 4 milers as well, which it's an astute observation. Jason wrote in, said, would have been nice to see Cooper face the favorites in cross country. I agree. And I think we're all operating under the assumption of, man, we're just so glad that there's a championship. Gordon and I were sitting in those empty stands in Albuquerque last year when the meet got called, and we didn't really know how much of the sports world would shut down at that point. We thought, oh yeah, it'll be back by fall cross country. So after that season got bounced as well, just the idea that we have indoor and cross and people are competing is great. And obviously outdoors, there's only one championship, so we'll get to see everybody, assuming they all pick the same event. They'll at least be all in the same venue come outdoor season. So I don't know. One thing that's interesting, Gordon, and I noticed this last night when I was watching some of the post-race interviews, not to be too serious for a moment, but I will before this next race starts. Usually when athletes talk about overcoming adversity or obstacles, right, it's hard for most people to relate. Sometimes it touches a nerve and you can put yourself in their shoes and say, oh yeah, like I had a similar situation. But a lot of times everybody's situation is so specific to them. But when athletes are talking about, man, I was just really motivated to get back here because I felt like last year's championship was stolen from me. Like that is such a universal theme with everybody in their life, regardless of whether or not you're a teenager, whether or not you're an NCAA favorite, whether or not you're old like you and I, whether or not you're 60. Like everybody wants to get back and because they felt like this whole last year has been such a struggle for them. So I just feel like elite athletes have never been more relatable, just because we've all been going through a lot of the same stuff this past year. So this is just an observation when I was watching some of those post-race interviews yesterday. I was like, yeah, it's awesome that we're back. It's awesome that you won. It's, you had you trained. I mean, do you remember last year, like that NAU team? Well, the BYU women were in tears, right? When the meet got called. NAU was completely distraught. Remember Luis Gahalva like coming up to us and being like, hey, can you guys put on a 5K? Like he wanted to just race anybody and everything. Like he was ready to go outside and race the first person he saw on the street. So to actually see it happen after this challenging year is so, I don't know, it's just such a positive feeling. So wanted to pass that along before this first year of the 400. So
it's like, and it's also weird, like the disappointment of losing almost like doesn't exist right now because people are like okay with losing because they're like, well, at least I got to participate. It's weird, like participation has become more important than losing, and that's something we lost sight of all the time, right? Because we'd always only care about results. We care about a win or a loss, but now knowing that it all can be taken away from you, you just care about a result. It's not about whether it's a win or a loss. So, yeah, all right,
and
400. Well, same on the track right now.
Same thing for you. Same thing for you and I. We could be mad that we're not at this meet, but instead we're just happy it's happening. And I'm sitting in a soundproof booth talking about it in Austin. So it applies to all of us.
I'm in my bedroom. All right,
Has he been for a year?
400's off. Have I been for a year? Yeah. It is kind of crazy. I'm like my own personal jail. So Corey Patterson's on the outside lane. Who's in this?
Yeah. Oh, you got Trevor Stewart in there. Yeah, you got Randolph Ross. You got Champion Allison.
21:06 through the opening two.
Travis putting over under 45 for the winning time in the chat. That's ambitious.
Oh, it's going to be under.
Someone can do it. Really?
I think get it under. Right. Patterson's looking good. He went from the gun. Can Randolph Ross reel him in? Can Patterson hold off Ross? Ross is coming.
Here comes Ross. Here comes Ross.
Ross got him.
Oh, and under
45.
Under. Man, I've been wrong about everything. Get that under. Well, we'll see if they correct the time. Man.
I think it's
what a big run.
44.
It had showed up as 44.98.
44.99. 44.99.
Dang! Shout out to Travis for setting that over under there. That was impressive.
That's a really good over under. You should take over for Gordon's guesses. That's what you should do.
Yeah. It should be Travis's truths. I don't know. We got to workshop that
Travis's
title a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, you got.
Who is more nervous? Who is more nervous there? Randolph Ross fans coming down the final stretch, or you last night after finding out Joel Embiid got hurt?
Oh, dude, that was the worst 12 hours of my life. It was so bad that
goes to show you about your life.
And it was really hard to communicate that to my significant other about why this was important to me. She didn't quite understand that it was just he's injured. Sorry. But I was like, no, you don't understand. Yeah. My life's value is in the success of Joel Embiid doing well for a random basketball team that I'm unhealthily addicted to. Anyway,
I'm going to read
hurt. That's good.
Can I read the text that you sent to me last night? I'll edit them because this is a family program. Yeah. Well, I asked you to do something work related, and you replied, "Embiid got hurt. Expletive knee. Yeah, I can." Then I said, "That didn't look good," because I looked it up. You replied, "I expletive shook right now." And then was my one good prediction, because then I saw the video though, and I'm like, he hyperextended it, didn't go side to side. So I've done that before. I've had a few knee injuries, so I was like, I think he'll be okay. And then you were already the bargaining phase, and you says, like, when you tear an ACL or MCL, it's normally side to side action, right? So you're counting on me for medical advice. That's when I knew I should probably leave you alone to your thoughts.
Then I woke up to your text saying congrats. I woke up to your text saying congrats on the bone bruise, and I was like the greatest text I've ever received in my life. Like literally, yeah. Anyway, I'm a big Joel Embiid fan, guys. I think he's the MVP. Here we go. Heat 2. 44.99 time to beat. I don't think they beat it. I think they run like 45-12. Too much pressure.
45-12 is the prediction from Gordon here.
LSU
Talk
out
us through this
strong.
one.
LSU there. Lane 5, excuse me. Gonna get the break over Dedman. Unless Dedman tries to cut him off. Dedman might try to get him at the break. Oh, Dedman's going for it. Get him. Oh. See, that's the worst. You got to put so much surge in that 50-meter straightaway to try to get to the pole, and then you kind of lose all your energy. So that kind of hurts Dedman because he's not going to catch it now. So LSU has it.
Williams. Williams from LSU.
No Williams. He's from
44.99.
I think he went to Akron. I think he went to Akron and transferred to LSU.
44.99.
Oh!
Whoa! 44.70. Hello.
That helps LSU. We did not have Noah Williams winning the 400.
So change 51. The projections.
We got to change these projections, man.
44.70. He was cruising on that home stretch. Oh,
44.71.
That race would have been totally different if Dedman was able to get to the inside and he couldn't. I don't know them. Man, maybe nobody was meeting Noah Williams. Look at the lift the last 50 meters. He was cruising right through. Oh, he's fired up. Good old-fashioned fist pump. I like that.
So the ranking, they're updated. So they went from 51 projected to now 56 projected. So they went +5 there.
Cutting it down.
LSU.
Cutting it down little by little.
Cutting it down. So they're down by 21. They do have a chance. If they go 1-2 in the 60 hurdles, they will get they will get closer. But it's going to be hard.
So you're saying instead of being 3 Oregon DQs away, they're only 2 Oregon DQs away from catching up.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Florida and Georgia now kind of separate themselves from the pack. A&T needed some big points, so they kind of dropped off to 6th now in the projections. So Florida there in 3rd. Florida, man. Every year you're like rebuilding year. They're not gonna they lost Holloway. They lose whoever they had. They lose their long jumpers or their triple jumpers or whatever. They're gonna still be on the freaking podium, man. It's just that's what they do. Their rebuilding year is getting 4th. It's just wild.
This is what we missed by not having this meet last year is stories like Noah Williams. Someone now who immediately vaults into that conversation of, oh man, this guy's a player on the world scene, right? 44.70. Michael Norman's world record's 44.52. And when you don't have that big stage and you don't have all that competition, you bring that crazy performance out of you. No one really knows what the pecking order is in the 400. So excited to see him have a breakout performance. I guess it was corrected to 44.71, number 3 NCAA all time.
He's
LSU going 1-2 in the zips. LSU going 1-2 in the hurdles isn't that far fetched.
So right now I have LSU going 2nd and 5th. So can they do better than 2nd and 5th? To Florida State's Trey Cunningham's gonna be hard to beat. So I think their best situation is 2-3, right? So that means we're gonna add
14.
Add 2 more points. So no, 2 more points to projected. So they could bump up if they have a perfect day. I feel like they're going to bump up to 58 points instead of 56. So, but it's still going to be hard to catch.
DQs happen. Bad races happen. Yeah. Listen, Oregon is really in command, but Noah Williams ran a hell of a 400 there. So both of those things can be true at once.
And Oregon has a history of getting DQ'd in distance events. R.I.P. James West and
Free James West.
James West, yeah.
Alex in the chat wants to know when the 3K is. I'm just going to answer people's scheduling questions here while we have
that's what you're all about.
3K is at 3 p.m. Central. 30 minutes. You're waiting for what?
For the pole vault to become final. Most of the results are in, but Baylor's Casey Lightfoot still perfect. He's definitely going to win probably. But BYU, Zach McWhorter in 2nd. Looking good for them.
Hey, So I want to ask you this question because when we were talking
Hit
about
me.
NAU and when we were talking about NAU and BYU not running their distance athletes, and we were saying how man, some of the sprint focused schools are going to hate it because it's going to allow Oregon to pile up points. Looking at how good Oregon's running, was anybody going to stop them anyway? Maybe you
Yeah.
could say, okay, in the mile they lose a couple, they drop a couple places, but I don't think anybody was going to beat their DMR team, and I don't think anybody was going to beat Cole Hawker unless it was Cooper Tier, his teammate.
I think someone could have beat him. And I think
In the mile?
hold on. I think
I guess you could say Nagoose.
No,
Nagoose.
Nagoose. They could have lost a DMR to Nagoose if they're in it. You saw the other guys run DMR. They were like 920 something. So
Okay.
I think Nagoose could definitely have beaten Cooper Tier. I think Cooper Tier could easily get third in a 3K behind Grijalva and Nagoose and putting the Connor Mance. I do think that you have to at least probably, to be fair, they probably got
Take off what?
5 to 10 point bump by not having all the best distance stars there. So if they win by more than 5 or 10 points,
not that big though. Yeah.
Then
okay. Yeah. That was my question.
If they win by more than 5 or 10 points, then it's a true title.
Okay.
Then they can't use it.
I mean, it's true anyway. I just think they're running so well right now, and I guess you could say, yeah, Grijalva and Nagoose could have beat him in a 3K. I would not pick them. I mean, obviously proximity bias here because we just saw what they did in the DMR. Men's 6 hurdles on the track. LSU's big chance here to get back in it. Let's see if they can do it.
Oh, LSU out good. Cunningham coming out strong.
Oh, that was a blanket
did
finish.
LSU win that? LSU might have won that. Was that Damian Thomas? Who won that? Show the result. Show the result. Oh, they did.
Eric Edwards there.
That's what they needed.
Did they go 1-2? They needed that.
What did they do?
Whoa.
They went 1-5. Cunningham got third. Wow. Let's update. We got to update these projections, man.
Wait, hold on. Do we have the results here or no?
Yeah, they went 1-5.
Oh, 1-5. He dropped back to 5. Okay. Oh, so Thomas, Britt, Cunningham, Lemonias, and Eric Edwards Jr. So they get 10, 8, 6, 5, 4. So they get, that's funny. So they get 14, right? Which is what they would have gotten with the 2-3. They end up getting 14.
Yeah.
So
now it's 77 to 58.
Okay.
So I updated it.
Man, that was close. So that was 751, 752, 753, 754. So top 4 separated by 0.03 there. Woo! Ooh, 1 and 5? Oh, 1st and 5th. Sean is saying in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I meant 4 points, right? 10, 8, yeah.
So they got 2 more points than what we thought they would get.
They got 14.
So they're at 58.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're at 58 now. That they're still projected to lose by 19.
I just want to check here though. 10 plus 4 is 14. Are we on the same page on that one?
I think we're on the same page on that. I'll have to circle back. I'll circle back and I'll get back to you.
Pat on the chat says Gordon Cooper's a 350 miler. No one is touching him except Hawker. I agree, Pat. Astute observation. Here's a one for you though, Gordon. DC Knoll says,
what?
If this, you're gonna love this question. You're gonna love this question. In fact, this is a question you probably would pose to Robert Johnson if he was here right now. He says, if you were Robert Johnson and the NCAA offered you right now the option to pull Tier from the 3K and let him run on Monday, would you take it? And he asked the question before. He asked the question before the 60 hurdles. So put yourself back.
100%
pre 60 hurdles. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. They got a 20. They're fine.
Yeah.
We need, man. It's gonna. I mean, as much as cross country championship is gonna be great. Don't get me wrong. BYU NAU, it's gonna be a good battle, but it would just be so much better if we had a fresh Arkansas to kind of mix it up, and a fresh Cooper Tier to kind of mix it up with individually. But hey, like we said, we're just thankful the races are happening. That's all that matters. Right?
Yeah, and also it's this weird thing where like because Tier's so good right now in the mile and 3K, I probably underrate him over a 10K cross country race because I'm doing the opposite for Grijalva and Mance, because they look good on the cross country course, and Nico Young. I probably think, okay, they're not going to be as sharp when it comes time for the track. No, I think if Tier ran cross country, you'd be silly to have him outside of your top 5, but I think he would be. Most people would not pick him to win in cross.
Yeah. I'm excited,
Right.
dude. I know we talked about it on pod yesterday, but the outdoor 5K is going to be the hardest event to like predict once they're all together for the men. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Hardest to predict. Yeah, right now. Tom wants to know, are we expecting Hawker to scratch from the 3K? What would you do, Gordon?
Yeah, you scratch them if you don't need them.
Wait until the
They'll
800
know if
then,
they're clinched
basically?
What's that?
Wait for the 800, essentially?
You wait for the 800. It's just like there's no point. I mean, Cooper's going to win it. So you're not like you're taking away his opportunity to have like a third place medal. It's like, all right, he already got a title. He could come out being like, I went 2 for 2, and then Tier can come out saying he went 2 for 2. So they both can be 2 for 2. Oregon's done this before. They've DMR. Oh, he didn't run the DMR. Never mind.
DMR. No.
I thought he ran a DMR. It was
I think Hawker could.
Never mind.
Well, I think Hawker could push. Tier. He might even be able to upset him, but he's not fresh. You just ran.
Yeah.
He just ran an hour ago. Cooper Tier did not. That's the difference.
Looking at the team scores.
Kevin expecting Gordon to pull a hammy during the watch party. Yes. Actually, Gordon is planning on running in between the 2 watch parties. So there's going to be a break here. I know you guys are really excited about this.
I'm doing it too.
To subscribe.
Yeah. You going for a run too?
Go for a run. I'm going to go for a run in between the men's session and the women's session because we have about 2 hours here. Now, most of the people listening probably already went on a run because we probably have a very active audience. But Gordon and I, have not run yet. So we're going to run. We're going to run separately. Change my shirt, come back, energized for this women's session tonight. Anthony thinks he's going to double.
How far should we go? Ask the chat.
Try to run 5 miles.
How far should we go on our run?
Ask Ryan if he wants to run with any of us.
I don't.
Anybody
do
in Austin who wants to run with Gordon?
I do time because distance means like I'm forced to go a certain distance, whereas time means like I can just go slow and then kill time. So I'm a time runner guy, not a distance runner guy.
All right, we got a Ches question, and all Ches questions have to go to you.
Oh,
this is from Brandon. If 2016 Ches was in the NCAA right now and did the 5K, DMR, 3K, and cross, what would you predict him to finish?
So if he did 5K, DMR, 3K, and cross? So he did a quadruple?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, but in this situation, is he taking Cooper Tier's spot in the DMR?
No.
Or is he racing his own teammate? You know what I mean? Because
there's a clone of Edward Cheserek. No.
Okay. Who just is running for Team Ed? He's just representing Team Ed for this.
Yeah, and he gets to stick at the same time. Let's just say that.
Okay. There's no way he wins the 5K. There's just no way.
Over Kiptoo? Okay.
Yeah. Well, what? Oh, wait. Because, man, it is interesting. Just thinking about Cheserek versus Kiptoo is a really interesting thought experiment because Cheserek was great, but like Cheserek was never forced to do. I mean, actually, hold up. Cheserek probably would beat Kiptoo because Pat Tiernan tried to pull a Kiptoo against Cheserek in 2015, where Pat Tiernan went balls to the wall in the cross-country championship in Louisville. They broke away from the pack, like 30-second lead after 5K, and Cheserek just stayed on Pat, and then Pat eventually couldn't handle it, and Cheserek went on. So I think Cheserek would have won the 5. Now that I think about it, yes, Cheserek would have beaten Kiptoo. He would have won the 5K. I think he would have won all three in indoor, but then I think he would have lost in cross because I just think fresh Mance and Grijalva would have taken advantage of 3-time champion Cheserek from Team Cheserek.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
All right.
He would have gone 3
so
for
Ryan
4.
said
3 for 4.
Okay. Well, let's go from one elite athlete to another. Ryan says the over-under for you is 3 miles. And then someone wants us to do a challenge where you see who can run farther in a set amount of time. What do you think? Can you go for 40 minutes?
What's the time? Whew. I don't have Strava, so I don't have a way to like calculate how far I went. I guess I'll have to look it up on like internet, just like look at the street address. Like, I made it this far.
Take your phone. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, we could
we'll
do
work
that.
on that. We got a couple more events.
Once we get to the 4x4, we'll figure out what our challenge will be between now. We got to put some wagers on it. That's all I want. I need to win something.
I ate too big of a lunch, and I'm drinking a organic iced tea right now, so I don't know how well this is gonna go, but I'll try it. They want to know if you have bouncy shoes. What type of footwear? Actually, don't say your footwear. You know, we're not sponsored, but do you have bouncy shoes?
You want me to say my footwear? Pay me.
The shoes Gordon has probably are not going to help him. I'll just tell you that right now because they don't work miracles.
They don't. They're not that good at shoes.
All right, so we're getting ready for this 800. I don't know if people watch the prelims, but Charlie Hunter looked really good, and he's under the radar because of Hawker and Tier. And when 2 guys break the collegiate record, that's going to happen on your team. But this guy's legit, and it's good that he has his own event here. Basically, this is where he gets to shine solo.
So I am projecting Oregon to win this race. So if they don't, their 77-point total will drop. So this is an opportunity for LSU to close the gap if Oregon doesn't win. Mm-hmm. And right now, looks like Charlie Hunter is in dead last after the first 200. So we'll see.
Have I been jinxing people on this? I talked about people's start being great, and then a moment later it wasn't. And then, although maybe that's just a power move from Mr. Hunter here. There's Hideli in the red, and moving to the outside. Gomez, is that Gomez from Iowa State? Does he have outdoor? Because if so, your Iowa State outdoor title prediction is looking kind of good. 52. Wow, Hunter way on the outside. We got some bumping. We got some argy-bargy, as our friends in Great Britain would say there.
Argy-bargy? I never heard that before.
5 away. This is interesting. There's some pushing and shoving. You got 5 people in one group completely away, and then 3 stragglers behind them. This looks like it's
Gomez in the lead. Oh, getting tripped up. There's some ruffling feathers. All right, someone's gonna get pushed. Oh! Charlie Hunter trying to get around the.
My goodness!
Guy. Oh,
there's gonna be some protests here. There's gonna be a yellow flag here.
So Gomez is out. So now,
oh my goodness,
Miami, Ohio, man.
What in the world is going on here? We're gonna see an upset. It's Cinderella time in college basketball. Is it going to happen on the track? Charlie Hunter down to the last strike. Oh!
I think Hunter got him.
Oh, my goodness.
He did. 145.90 to 145.91.
Oh, look at that. Look at the look on his face. He almost pulled it off. McClear. Oh, man. The conflicting emotions there. Oh, my goodness.
That's like the hell of a race for McClear, man. Finley McClear, sophomore.
This race had
Miami,
everything,
Ohio.
Man. Pushing, shoving. You had an upset bid from a mid-major, and then you had the favorite grab it in the last possible instant. Look at this finish. Mike, there's nothing McClear could have done. It's not like he eased up. Look at the photo. Well, maybe he could have. I don't know, man. He was flat out there. He was flat out.
Oh, the disappointment. and the excitement of Hunter. And McClear just like crashes to the track, be like, no. I mean, hey man, McClear, you get second here. You're a sophomore. This is your huge breakout race. You're set up for some
That was
great
amazing.
future 800s down the road. So no shame there.
That was
no
crazy.
shame at
all. What's interesting there is Gomez and Hadelli kind of got in a fight with each other and then took themselves out of the race, because there's no reason why they couldn't have been in the mix in here on the home stretch either, but they kept just banging into each other. They were like drawn to each other throughout that race. But man, I didn't think he was going to get him with 50 to go. I thought he left it way too late. What a run! So that doesn't change the projections, right? Because you had him go.
No, because we had
there?
them. Yeah, we had 10. So
yeah.
Running out opportunities for LSU. I mean, again, we're going to need something crazy to happen in the 3K. Because I think they're probably, at 61 points now and projected to get 16 in the 3. So, however, if I'm not sure what I have LSU in the 4x4. What do I have LSU in the 4x4? Okay, so, there is an opportunity. So I have LSU scoring 0 points in the 4x4.
Okay.
Are they in the 4x4? Do they have a 4x4 team?
Maybe that's why you have them with 0 in the 4x4. Gordon, did we?
They have a 4x4 team.
Yep.
But they're in a super slow heat, so they're going to need to.
Mm-hmm. They're going to need to beat their
seat. The wall in that first section.
Yeah.
If LSU wins they just had the anchor run 44-7. You have to think LSU can find 3 other guys. That could be. I have them getting 0 in the 4x4. So as long as they're within 10, there might be a chance.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we got? What do we got left there? Pole vault still going, 200, 3K, and 4x4. Thanks everybody for tuning in. This is fun. I appreciate all the comments.
Yeah.
Keep them coming. Caleb wants to know who from Oregon would win in a hypothetical 1K. I think I'd take Charlie Hunter in that. Also, subscribe while you're here to the FloTrack podcast YouTube page. Hit that big button right there and make Gordon happy. He needs it after Joel Embiid is going to be out for 2 weeks. Just tough timing too, right before they play the NBA's best team that nobody knows about, the San Antonio Spurs, on Sunday. We should do a watch party for that too. Are you in?
I'll do live scoring updates. Oh, 3-pointer.
Okay. We're projecting the Spurs.
We're projecting the final score based on.
Hey, do you have a different opinion on Oregon's 1K champ? Or would you take Hunter as well?
What's the question?
Who from Oregon would win in a hypothetical 1K?
Ooh.
By the way, hypothetical 1Ks
Charlie
are
Hunter.
way better than actual 1Ks.
Hunter. You got the best 800-meter runner would definitely win the 1K because he still runs a 3:53 miles, so he's not going to fall apart in the final 200 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hunter, 100%.
Someone said, does Oregon have anybody in the 200? They don't, correct?
They don't, correct. So they just have 3K. That's it. So they
have answering questions.
Project to get 16 in the 3. LSU, I have winning the 200. So if they don't win the 200, which could happen, I mean, bowling's pretty good. Florida guy's pretty good. So they're going to need to do something crazy in the 4x4 and need some shenanigans that happen in the 3K for LSU to have any shot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, some more comments.
If I was LSU.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go. No,
you're more important than the listeners. Just kidding. Yeah, good. It was a stupid idea. I could tell it was going to be a stupid idea, so I was like, listen, let's cut you off now. Jason wants to know, does Laird run the 4x4? Not much time between races.
Probably not. I wouldn't imagine.
It is weird to think you have the
too.
400 champ and the 200 champ in your 4x4. It seems like you could get some points based on that. Tom says Hawker split 249, 1200 in the DMR record. That's a good resume point when you're talking about who to win a 1K. Brandon wants to know, Kevin, if someone breaks the American record, can we roll out the song? Yes, I will sing it live. Ivan says Hunter ran wide the whole race and he still won. Honestly, could have gone 144 if he led from the jump. Yeah, I'd be interested to know what the plan was going in because Hawker and Tier had such clear strategies in the DMR and the mile, and Hunter's looked a little bit more, shall we say, improvisational. Nico wants to know when the 200 is. Soon. Let's see. Do we know when the
Is that
200
Nico
is?
Young asking?
Yeah, he's in Stillwater, and he's big into the 200. It's in. It's right now. It's about to start. It's about to start. Nico Young. What's the projection for Terrence Lair in the 200 in regards to time? Time. How fast do you think he'll run?
I think the winning time's going to be 20:25. In my Gordon's guesses, I said it was going to be by Matthew Bowling, but I just think in general the winner is going to run 20:25.
Yeah. So
That's
keep an eye on this guy, Joseph Fanbula. He showed incredible poise yesterday in the prelims because a guy ran in his lane for about 4 steps, and he still ran a really quick time. So watch out for him. Micaiah Harris probably was the favorite last year, I want to say. Maybe there were co-favorites last year, but he was one of the guys who was looking really good. Indoor 200, such a strange event. We'll see who comes out on top. Nico does say yes. He says it's Nico Young, so that's good. Thank you for joining the chat. Okay, 200. We got a couple heats. Fastest time wins, obviously, because it's track and field. Let's see what we got here.
It'd be fun if it was like second fastest time wins. We should use strategy. You can't be too fast or too slow. It's like you need to get second.
Just 2 heat finals are so weird. It just feels like long track speed skating in the Olympics. It's just weird to be competing against the clock here. Fanbula is in a good spot. Here comes Micaiah Harris, 2039.
2039.
2039. So 2025 will win, but that's going to be tough. Someone said in the chat
in this time.
Yeah, and that's a bummer, right? Because it's like you want to say, hey, I won. That's good enough. Okay, Travis is saying that Laird split 46.3 on the 4x4 at SEC Indoors in 2020. Has not run it since. Good stats there, Travis. Caleb bringing up the important stuff here, which says, why would my man have split shorts for a 200? Is that a... I don't know, man. Grant Holloway wears split shorts.
Yeah, and Trayvon Bromel's a split short guy.
Yeah. Has he got split shorts over the tights there?
That's he might. Combo. Maybe it's not.
It's a lot of fashion here.
Let's give a shout out to Taron Conwell of Clemson. It's maybe the final indoor Clemson performance we ever see at a national meet. He ran 21:09 there to take third in that heat. Man, Clemson track, we gotta bring it back. I don't know how.
Save Clemson track. Save Clemson track. Shout out to Ryan Fenton, an alum.
Yes. All right, Terrence Laird, Matthew Bowling. This is gonna be the race of the day. I'm calling it. We're gonna see something special here.
The race of the day. That is bold. That better than that 800. That 800 was awesome, man.
I think we're gonna see
that 800.
This is the moment.
That 800. If I still wrote words for this website, I would do a whole thing about how that just sort of mirrored everything in March, man. That was like a Cinderella team thinking they're gonna pull that 4 versus 13 first round upset or that 2 versus 15. And just as they have that belief, it gets snatched from them right at the very end. And then you just saw that, I mean, even down to his facial expressions, sometimes you see people really happy with second because they outperformed what they thought they could do, but he was just completely devastated with his hands on his head. But I'll just say this on the live show instead of writing about it. So anyway.
Man.
Before we get started, Evan wants to know, what are your thoughts on UT getting third in the men's DMR?
I was impressed. They did it without their best miler and also their second best miler, who's out because of injury, Sam Worley. Shows that they got depth coming, and I think most of the guys were young. So it's wild to break your school record, which was a national record for like 13 years, and you get like third or fourth in the race. It shows that the DMR is just getting better and better. But yeah, hometown team. Big shout out to Pete Watson and that crew, doing a good job. Creighton Carosa, he's going to be good in the coming years. It's a sophomore.
Yeah. 20.39 here in the 200 time to beat.
Here we go. They're off. So Bowling's in lane 6 and Laird is in lane 5. They say lane 5 is better than lane 6. But Bowling running like its life depends on it, knowing Laird is coming. Who's that on 3, though? A&T's looking good. Bowling.
He stumbled right.
He's pulling up. He's
here
pulling
comes
up.
Laird.
Oh,
20.18.
That was close.
Whoever wins it wins the whole thing. I think Bowling got him.
Oh,
Bowling got him.
You got him. I was right on Bowling winning. I said
close.
2025. But you ran what? 2019. Laird 2020. Wow.
Yeah. He was close.
Started the Bowling Mania, man.
50.
Bowling Mania. It's gonna come.
That was really close down that last stretch. See that on the replay? Laird like lost his momentum. Look, he goes out to the outside right there. He had 2 or 3 steps where he almost stumbled. I think that killed his momentum. But a big race for Bowling. When the pressure's on, man, that was a big time run here. Are you updating the projections?
Oh yeah, man. Got the 200 results up. Pole vault. Yeah. So that hurt LSU. They went from 58 down to 56. I think it's a wrap. After this 3K, it's a wrap. Because the pole vault results are not final yet, but we're just waiting.
Mm-hmm. Credit to Tyrone. He called it. He says Bowling in 6. He wins it. So all he needed to see was the lane draw, and he knew where he was going to finish.
So it looks like the pole vault results are basically final. We just have one competitor left. So I can now update that. So yeah, Lightfoot won. So now we're just down to 3K and 4x4 relay. That's the final 2 events.
The final 2 events. Yeah. So what's the real? So are those scores in, or they haven't? Have they scored the pole vault yet?
I scored it. So it's in the projections. So I have LSU at 56 now. No more points.
Yeah.
And then Oregon is at 61, but I think they're going to get 16 points in the 3K. So in order for Oregon to clinch it, they basically need to get to 66. So they just need to get to, or I guess they need to get to 67. So Oregon just needs 6 points.
So they got to run Hawker. You got to run Hawker, right?
Yeah, you can't risk it. I guess
the odds of LSU getting 10 points in the 4x4 are pretty small.
Yeah,
but you also can't risk it. I think you just have him just chill and try to give you whatever he can in that last stretch.
Georgia now pretty much solid there in 3rd with 35 projected points. Florida, 32 projected points. Arkansas, 5th, 28. The thing about Arkansas is I have them doing pretty well in that 3K, and I'm not sure if Arkansas is going to feel too good after that 5K that they had. So
I'm wondering if we're going to see some scratches in that 3K.
Yeah, if you're Arkansas, do you go all in to try to get to 4th, or do you bench them all to go back all in and cross?
How many?
If you're the coach, what do you do?
I think racing at home, I think you go for the trophy here.
You go for the trophy here?
I think you go for the trophy here.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah. I mean, so Kemboy is...
they're on the track. They have Kemboy and Boyd. They have 2 guys.
Well, when Chris Bucknam was in the press conference, he said, we're going to worry about cross-country after indoors. So they're just going to run indoors, focus 100% on indoors, and then make their decision after that. So they want to stay laser-focused on it. Garcia Romo for Ole Miss is in this one, so keep an eye on him. He was the one who was running the anchor leg against Tier, and he can close very quickly. Not as quickly as Tier, but pretty quickly. So Hawker's there.
Yep, everyone's there. Looks like I don't think we have too many crazy scratches. I
So all
think
that
the
discussion
coaches
was
are
for nothing.
not overthinking it. They're not thinking about cross right now, so it makes sense. You go, you're there to run. You're going to run. You're not going to play games. Makes sense.
Well, I don't think Oregon's thinking about cross because they're not in the meet. But yeah,
Well, for
they're not
Arkansas,
thinking about our hypothetical bye.
I do think Hawker though is probably told, "Hey man, like we just need you to score. We don't need you to go crazy and try to run up there with the leaders if they go crazy hard and then kill yourself." So
Mhm.
I'm sure they have a different strategy between
What'd you say?
Tier and Hawker.
6, right?
Yeah, they just need 6 points to clinch.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to try to control it from the front, just slow it down, and then put your money on Tier's kick and Hawker's kick as well too. But maybe some of these other guys will have different plans. Look at FloTrack putting his hands out there. He was like, "I'm not fouling. I'm not fouling. I have the principle of verticality."
No
It's
touching.
like watching
No touching.
NBA.
No touching.
He put his hand up when the guy behind him was going around him. He's like, "I'm not. I don't want to foul." All right. So
while this 3K is going on, I just want to talk a little bit about that 200 when it comes to
yes,
national
Travis puts
impact, right? So
some
bowling
stats on it,
2019, Laird 2020, indoor, that's fast. That converts to even quicker times outdoor. I feel like both of those guys can run sub 20 now. But the question I have is, when we look at the 200-meter Olympic team, Lyles, and that's it, right? Dude, there's no other there's no other second guy or even third guy that you're like, yeah, you're 100% a 200-meter guy. So I guess Kenny B, yeah. But Kenny B, is he healthy? All this stuff, and
Yeah,
he's not as solid as he's just as likely to make it as a Bowling or a Laird, in my opinion. But basically, the point I'm saying is, do Bowling or Laird, how much stock are you buying in either of those guys to make the Olympic team?
I'm never going to discount anybody from the 200, especially if you can get to sub 20, because we've seen that's been good enough to qualify by the time you get to the end of the meet. But it's still a long way away. I feel better about Kenny B than you do. Hey, Oregon's doing what I said they were going to do. Going to the front, controlling. Sorry, it's the only thing I've gotten right. I need to highlight that. Bednarik, you're right. He's had injuries at inopportune times, but I'm thinking all this time off is going to put him in a good spot to where he can really, really roll. Yeah, it's weird, right? Because you'd think, if Norman could double, you'd put him in there as a lock as well too. So finalists, yes, for Laird and Bowling, but I think they're still outside right now for the.
I think Bowling's going to make the team. I think Bowling will make the 200 team. Who would you put ahead of him? Lyles, Bednarik, and who?
TBD. It's
TBD.
Maybe Cravon Gillespie, someone like that. A lot of times it's a person who is
consistent.
Oh yeah, consistent but overshadowed. Get one of those final 2 spots, because again, it's just more about managing your energy through the rounds, especially if you're going to run the 100 or the 200. Like, what's interesting is we talked about this before. We talked about what's his best event, because he was running a lot of 60s, and we were thinking, well, he's so good in the 400. I don't think the 100 or certainly not the 60 is his best event. I wonder if he dabbles in the quarter at all when it comes time for outdoors, or is he just found his event and he's just going to kind of focus on the 100?
I think he's going to focus. I think he's kind of like a Noah Lyles in a way, where Lyles is 200 base, and he can split a fast 4x4, and he gets weaker as he gets to shorter distance, and his sweet spot is 200. I think you could probably say the same thing for Bowling, whereas his sweet spot is 200. He can run a fast 4x4 split, but he gets weaker as the distance gets shorter. So I think Bowling is basically another version of a light man's Lyles, where he's not as strong as what Lyles has become. I don't want to say Bowling is going to go out there and be running 1950, but I do think he has the same type of priority, not the word priority, strength. He has the same strength. Like, my strength is a 200. The same thing way Lyles' strength is a 200. So
Well, I look at the guy who has a collegiate record, and Caleb brings him up in the chat here. Eli Hall, he's got that indoor collegiate record 20:02, which is mighty fast. Now he did it in a non-championship year, so we weren't able to go and immediately say, "Hey, is he going to make the team? Is he going to make the team?" So, but 20:02, I think we would agree is a ways quicker from what we saw from bowling. Bowling, obviously, younger, so there's a lot of variables here. A lot of variables.
Let's talk a little bit about this 3K. They were 4:14 through the opening mile. It's just been Tier and Hawker 1-2, and it's basically been a train. No one's really made any movement. Got Mario Garcia Romo, who was kind of pushing Tier in that DMR anchor from Ole Miss. He's there in third. Amoin Kemboy is there in fourth, and I'm sure Kemboy is very thrilled that Cooper Tier is running the 3K normally and not the way Kip 2 would have ran it, which would be go out in like 57 seconds and try to run like sub 60s every lap. Everyone is still in it though. It seems kind of no big movement. Well, there's a group of 8. You could say top 8 are still in it. Virginia Tech though now going to the lead. Who's that from Virginia Tech? Lopez Segura. Antonio Lopez Segura.
This is probably perfect for Oregon. Virginia Tech has three in this final.
Yeah, Oregon looks smooth. Again, all they need is 6 points and they win. I think they're going to get it. Arkansas trying to get big points there. 2 guys in the top 8. What's that?
Someone in the chat mentions it. Well, we're going on to we're talking about Eli Hall here, which is an interesting thing to discuss during a 3K. But I brought him up as compared to other collegiate times, and someone brings up a good point. Yeah, he was injured shortly into his pro career. He did run that 20:02 in College Station. That was the year all the records got broken essentially indoors. Michael Norman broke the world record in the 400. The 4x4 mark went down. Kendall Ellis set the Sydney year. Yeah, well, Sydney had it, and then Kendall Ellis broke it, I think, in the next heat. The same thing happened in the women's too. Ashley Henderson broke it, and then the next heat, Gabby Thomas broke the 200 mark. It just was over and over and over and over again. I think, both the 2s and the 4s went down. All
right, let's talk about this race. 3K in. Garcia Romo, the blonde-haired assassin up front now. And Cooper Tier now
not his nickname.
I just made it up. I don't know.
That is not, for the record, not his nickname.
Okay, so 1 lap to go.
7:20 on the clock.
Tier just going. Hawker there was still in it. They might go 1-2. Man, what a dominant performance by Oregon. They're about to go 1-2 here. Not even close.
It's going to be fast.
Oh, can Hawker catch Tier? Oh, Oregon on Oregon crime potentially. Uh-oh. Hawker's coming for him. Hawker.
Oh, he got him. Hawker got him. I told you.
Uh-oh.
Man.
I wonder that. Oh, man. Who would have thought the worst thing that happened to Cooper Tier was going to be his own teammate? Damn.
Man. What a day. Dude, what 2 Find me a person who's had a better hour than Cole Hawker. How does that happen?
He closed in 25:49 for the last 200. Cooper Tier was 26:08. 25:49.
Yeah, that's
PB 7:46. Dude,
missed the meet record by a second there. 7:45. Lowy Lang's mark survives. Like most people would still be on their cooldown at this point from the mile win, and Cole Hawker just jumped in a 3K and upset his teammate. You see it there. Garcia Romo 3 and Amon Kemboy 4. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the team race is over. Oregon's going to win. All they needed in that one was 6 points, and they scored 18. They're going to end with 79 points. Obviously, the race is on there for the final 2 podium spots behind LSU. I want to talk about something that's not related to this meet, but it's related to Cole Hawker. Remember when Matt Centrowitz ran against Cole Hawker? I know that'll get
Yeah.
people discussing it in the chat. And Centro was in that. It was in the B heat, and he kicked really hard and just nipped him at the line. And everyone's like, "Ooh, what's to say about Centro?" Well, I don't know, man. Cole Hawker's pretty damn good. So maybe it shows that Centro's in pretty good shape, because if you can catch Cole Hawker, you're in elite company right now. I think that victory means a little bit more today than it did at the end of 2020.
So what is Hawker? Is he a 1,500 meter runner or 5K runner? I mean, we can talk about indoor mile, 3Ks, all that stuff, but what matters is what you're trying to do at the Olympic trials. What is he? You can't do 15 and 5, right? Because that double's not possible. They took that option. If you're Cole Hawker, what are you focusing on for NCAAs and for ultimately Olympic trials?
I'd do 15 if I was him.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Just because we've already talked about how rare it is to even get the standard. So if you can get it and you're in the mix, I think he's got all the. I mean, he's got all the tools for both. I just think the 1,500 is a bit more navigable for him given his skill set. But I'm interested to know what other people think. I mean, he's good on both, obviously.
I mean, I think his youth makes you want to think he should probably continue to work on that speed at the 1,500 meter level, and that maybe I feel like the 5K, you need to be the way it is now. You need to be 13 flat type 5K runner to be in conversation for a team. And while maybe Hawker could do that, his max maybe this year is he's maxed out at a 13-15 type guy, which is still great for a sophomore out of Oregon. And I think he probably has the ability to run a 3:34, maybe even a 3:33 1,500. And if you're that quality, that's good enough to make any Olympic team. So I think he should definitely do the 15. The question is, I just think hey, I'm going to say right now, we could have 2 college kids make the U.S. Olympic team in the 1,500. I think Nagoose and Hawker, I'm going to say right now, could both make the Olympic team. 2 college kids.
Yeah. I just think if you figure that meets are going to go on as scheduled in the spring, he's going to have a busy season competing collegiately. And the 1,500, I think, will end up being a better bet. Maybe takes a little bit less out of his legs. There's a little bit more of a random element. And obviously you need some stuff to go right for you to make the team to the Olympics. So yes, I'm with you. I think the 1,500 is his best event. Someone asked, how fast was the last mile? And I'm looking it up here. So from 1,400 to 3,000, it looks like it was just under 403. Or sorry, just under 404. So 403.8-ish. I'm just eyeballing that right now for Cole Hawker after going out, like you mentioned, in 414. One of those 200-meter segments obviously overlaps because it's 3,000 meters. So there you go.
There you go. You love that phrase. There you go. So there you go.
There you go.
So obviously Oregon dominated. LSU is clinched second. Oregon has clinched first. But we do have a little bit of a battle for third, fourth, and fifth. We have Georgia projected to get 35, Florida 32, and A&T projected to get 28. I think we have A&T projected to win the 4x4. No, we don't. We haven't get second. So if A&T is able to win the 4x4, that will push them to 30 points. And then what you would need is you need Florida to not score. And if that happens, so if Florida doesn't score and A&T wins, that means Florida and A&T will be tied for fourth. As for Georgia, we have them getting fourth. So that's their 5 points. So there's a chance we could see Georgia, Florida, and A&T all end with 30 points, and we could have a 3-way tie for third. But it's looking pretty good that Georgia and Florida will maintain a top 4 spot. And our podium teams will be Oregon, LSU, Georgia, and Florida when all is said and done.
In the chat, we have a question here from, not even a question, comment here from Ivan. He says, Hawker could make the 1,500-meter team this year. Then he can hit the Legat double 15.5 or something for 2024. Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, Central made his first team as a collegiate in 2011. So collegiate's making the 1,500-meter team is not without precedent. And Hawker certainly has the build-up now based on what he did. Look, I get it. Not everybody was in the 3K that should have been in the 3K because of cross country. You didn't have Nagus, you didn't have Grijalva, you didn't have Connor Mance, you didn't have Kiptoo. Right. So there was some big omissions in that race, but him beating his teammate less than an hour after he won the mile. I mean, I know you talk about Chez's performance on the first night of an NCAA Indoor Championship when he did the 5K DMR, right? Where does this stack up?
I mean, we've seen mile 3K double champions many times, I feel. I mean, I think Lowy do it a couple times potentially.
But this time schedule.
Yeah, that's true. Here's a question. We're going to get into Bowerman, the way they vote Bowerman is stupid regardless, but what is more impressive, what Hawker did or what LSU's Harrison did, winning the high jump and long jump? Like, they're going to definitely give it to him, right? Because he'll be like, whoa, high jump, long jump. Yeah, Bowerman. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I think Harrison would be in the lead right now because I think some people are going to give more weight to the fields that were not diluted at all, which is fair, it's impossible to compare these two things. It's apples to swimming pools, right? It's oranges to Chryslers. So it's not, you can't really compare, shot putter has a set amount of opportunities and a javelin thrower doesn't even have an indoor season. It's impossible to compare these things. So looking at something like, okay, who did you beat? Were the best people there? I think is fair, but it'll come down to outdoors. I can see someone for the man like Kiptoo, if he does the 5 and the 10, or even if he has just an amazing 5, I could see us completely forgetting about what happened during indoors and that being the performance to beat. Too soon to tell.
You know what's going to be a fun podcast that we're going to do on Wednesday?
What's that?
Based off these results and what happens in cross country, we need to come up with a power ranking of men's 5K runners or men's distance runners.
Yeah.
We gotta wait to see what happens in cross, right? Because if like Grijalva or Mance like destroy Kiptoo, we're gonna have a different feeling. Mm-hmm. But it'll be interesting to see how we would rank Hawker, Tier, Kiptoo, Mance, Grijalva. And let's even throw in Kurgat because he'll be there for the outdoor season. So it'll be interesting to see how we analyze that.
So tune into Wednesday's pod, everybody, for that one. Let's go to the comments here. David,
first of all, before you go to comments, tell people to like and subscribe. That's what we're supposed to do. We're podcasters. Yeah. We're YouTubers.
Okay.
So subscribe, and remember, we're gonna be back here while we wait for these 4x4s to go off. We'll be back here at 5:45 for the women's finals. And then again
Central time.
On Monday, 11 a.m., where we're going to have 2 special guests, both of them confirmed, that are not Lincoln. They are actual legitimate runners who will enjoy their takes on cross country. They've had some success in the cross country scene. They've won some titles, some medals internationally and NCAA wise. So it's going to be fun. Anyway, what are the comments you want to say?
Yeah, I want to read the comments because, people need to have some incentive for tuning in here. Well, speaking of Lincoln, he texts me right now.
I just saw a text.
I'm not going to read what he texted. I'm not going to read the text. Okay. Let's see. David says Lightfoot was competing an hour before track started and still going on with just the relay left. That's the most pole vault thing ever. Ian, it says 403.8 last 1600. In the Javon Harrison versus Cole Hawker debate, Emmanuel says Harrison, no doubt. David says what Harrison did, nobody else has ever done in their career. He did it in one day. And then Art wants to know, do you guys think Cooper will make the Olympic team?
Cooper Tier?
It's
No.
Yeah, it's easy to say yes, but then you got to realize you can't. It's just like when people predict the record of every NFL team before the season starts, and you end up with like way too many of 90%
Way too
of the
many
league
wins.
is above 500. Yeah, you're saying, wait a minute, that is not actually. So there's only so many people who LSU running this really hard right now, by the way. There's only so many slots. So between the 15, 5, and the 10, there's 9 spots for the men. That's it. Somebody good isn't going to make it. I wouldn't put tier on it right now, but we need to see outdoors. We definitely need to see the beginning, at least, of outdoors. So
I just feel like maturity factor is a thing for Olympic 5K and 10K teams. I just don't feel like younger people really qualify that often in those events. Whereas in the 1500, it's easier to see the young guns kind of take away from the pros. That's my thoughts.
That's fair. I think that's a good point. And also, listen, we did this last time it was a global championship. It was in Austin, and everybody went nuts, right, at that meet. And how many of those people made now there was a big break between that and when USA's happened, but a lot of those people we saw fell off. Grant Holloway notably did not, and that's what we choose to remember. But there were a lot of people who were running crazy times there who weren't able to replicate it. There's going to be a little bit of a quicker turnaround, which I think will help the college kids. Some people say no, it will hurt them, but I think it will help college kids. So that's something different. But there is always, some people For some people, this will be the best meet they run all year. That's just the truth of it. Some people, the NCAA Outdoor Championships will be the best meet they run out all year. And some of these college kids, maybe some people who got second, third, or fourth today, are going to pop off and run like crazy at the trials. And it will be a college kid on the team, but not the one that we expected. Remember, what was it, 2017? Will London finished higher at USA's than he did at NCAA's? That stuff happens. That happens quite a bit. Expect the unexpected, I guess. Pat says Hawker could absolutely make the 1500 meter team. I agree. And Connor calls 5K a long thinking man's race. Well said. Someone says they love Lincoln as a special guest. He's pretty good. He's okay. I
love he's texting us. Is he watching the feed? You think he's watching?
Yeah. Okay. So no, I don't think he's watching the feed.
He did text us.
Thoughts of Adam Fogg's performance for Drake? I think he was spectacular. He took advantage of the fact that I think he got in based on scratches, if I'm not mistaken, and took full advantage of it. So credit to him. Shout out to Drake Diner. Shout out to what's the pizza place? Fogg's. Wait, what's the pizza place there?
Is it called Fogg's?
Is it called Fogg's Pizza? Hold on. Did I just...
Maybe his dad is the owner.
Uh-oh. Wait, Fogg Pizza.
Free pizza.
Des Moines. Because I was there for USA's, I used my card, and they hit you... Oh, it's Fong. It's Fong, not Fogg. Fong. Because I still get emails. From the place, and I knew it started with an F. So shout out all of them. Good pizza as well. Hold on. Travis is sending me stuff. USTFCCA says Oregon is the first program in meet history to sweep the 800-mile and 3,000 in the same year. Ducks added the DMR for good measure. That's from the USTFCCA. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell on the notifications. And
the big difference, the reason why that stat is a first time is because a lot of times the dominant distance teams, they typically just sweep the mile, 3K, 5K. But the fact that they were able to have a really good 800-meter runner, he's probably not even training like an 800-meter runner. He's just a really good miler who can come down to the 800. That's why that stat's unique. Is typically you don't really have a lot of times 800-meter runners all gravitate to a more 800, 400 heavy school versus gravitating towards a mile, 3K heavy school. And in this case, the situation was that Charlie Hunter was just like that unicorn who could do well in the 8, even though he was training as a miler.
Mm-hmm. Unicorn.
So
People are using that term a lot now. It's interesting.
the use of the phrase
I don't know how
unicorn is not a unicorn. It's
it's no
just a
longer
regular horse.
no longer a unicorn. Just a regular horse. We just beat it to death. I don't know. Not the horse. That sounds really violent. That's not what I meant to say. Okay. Also, we're going to be revealing who the cross country watch party guests, who replaced Lincoln. We're going to reveal that during the women's watch party tonight. So hopefully everybody is going to be able to come back for the women's events tonight because those should be pretty good too. We're going to have a similar setup. The team race is going to be way closer. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
It's going to be tight. So Gordon's projections are going to be at a premium, and you can only get them here. And we'll obviously have the instant analysis. A thing Mo might break the American record. Twanisha Terry could break the collegiate record. Can BYU continue their awesome meet in the distances? There's so much to watch for. And we'll also reveal those special guests for Monday. Anyway, and I'll try to
This
name
is weird.
more places I like to eat in Des Moines.
This is weird seeing Florida and A&M in the slow heat. And think about so many years. It was Florida's 4x4 versus A&M's 4x4 in that final.
They can't quit each other. They can't leave each other.
Now they're both in the second fastest heat instead of the fast heat. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
This is big for Florida. They need to do as well as possible in this if they want to leapfrog Georgia from 4th to 3rd. And I'm sure Coach Holloway is keeping a fast paying attention very closely to that concept. Is like, hey, we need as many points as possible in this 4x4. I had them getting 7th, so them winning this guarantees them potentially at worst 5th, right? Because there's 4 other teams in the next final if they all go faster than them. So be interesting. They're looking pretty good right now, pulling away from A&M. Man, I'm excited to outdoors. We're going to see the return of Devin Dixon and Edwin Kurgat.
Oh,
a lot of the other 800-meter runners. It's going to be fun.
I didn't even think about that. There's some people who have eligibility that you didn't realize. Devin Dixon is such a sleeper for the 800 team because he's so good. Run some all-time marks. Got beat by Hopple, and we're like, oh, man, just can't get it together in the championship. And then you're like, no, Bryce Hopple is amazing. He's really good. He's gonna get 4th in the world one day. He's gonna be right on Brazier's shoulder. So now you kind of rethink Dixon, and he's laying low right now, but he's got insane 400-meter speed, and he could throw a wrench in that men's 800 for sure. This is shaping up to be a good one here.
Oh, Arkansas coming back in it. Uh-oh. Arkansas trying to go from 3rd to 1st.
What an anchor leg.
Florida trying to pull
all
away.
the way out to lane 3.
Arkansas.
All the way out to lane 3.
Oh!
The lane 3
special. Off by a second.
Does anybody else?
Does
anybody else
watch the feed I'm watching, man? You need to stop watching your feed.
I'm on your feed.
I'm not.
My computer's closed.
Oh, okay.
Computer's closed. Look.
All right.
Computer's closed. It's been closed. I just do this every time. Does anybody else do this when they watch it? I don't have any other way to signify my emotion, so I just lean back in a chair. Luckily, this chair has a little bit of give to it, but no,
Florida still got it.
Okay.
Florida still has it. So that's good news for Florida, right? They're at worst going to get 5th, right? So because Georgia and Florida are actually both tied with 30 points right now. So basically, whoever wins between Florida and Georgia, that's going to be your 3rd place team.
Wait. And then A&T is 4th?
So A&T need a win to get to 30 points. I mean, they didn't. Yeah, they need a win to get to 30 points. So,
gotcha.
But Florida and Georgia are likely to get points. So therefore, A&T is probably going to end up getting 5th. Because they need, if Georgia drops the baton and A&T wins, then A&T will be top 4. But it's pretty likely just going to be Florida, Georgia, in whatever order. Yeah.
We know the podium teams. We just need to figure out the last
pretty much.
2.
Assuming Georgia doesn't drop the baton.
Okay. Let's check in with the comments here, Gordon. Ty says Gordon needs to give Nico more of a chance. I agree. Remember, if Nico wins on Monday, there's one person who always believed in him, and it's the gentleman on the right side of your screen, not the left. We got another comment that says FloTrack podcast, #1 podcast in the world. I think that is correct. I haven't checked in the numbers today. Who else we got? Oh, Brandon. He's hoping for a 30-minute Gordon segment on Mercy Chelangat during the women's section of the podcast. Yes, you should come back for that too, and the results of mine and Gordon's virtual race that we're going to have in between these sections.
Did Chelangat didn't run the 5K?
Is she entered in the 3? This could be a developing story here.
I think maybe she anchored the DMR. Let me check.
Is that right? Okay.
Do they have a way to show who ran the race? Yeah, here we go. No, she didn't.
Those are known as results.
So it looks like Chelangat got scratched indoors. She's going all in on cross, baby.
Oh. Okay, you'll have to wait till Monday then to hear Gordon.
Yeah, we'll save that
go all in on
for
Mercy
Monday.
Chelangat.
Yeah.
Jason wants to know if Pre-Classic has a date. Yes, it is August 21st. Jason,
did you just know that date off the top of your head?
No, I googled it.
Okay.
I want to help people out. They're
weird.
They're nice enough to come in. They're nice enough to come into the chat. I knew it was after the Olympics. It's going to be strange, but they're nice enough to come into the chat. I want to answer all their questions. I mean, maybe someone else is going to do it in the chat, but yeah, August 21st at Hayward Field is what I'm seeing here. As we get the third section underway in the men's 4x4, Gordon.
Bowling leading off.
Mm-hmm.
Bold strategy. See if that works. I guess they have Elijah Goodwin.
Do you think
anchor?
Do you think bowling?
This was smart because they wanted
Georgia,
bowling to get the pole position to kind of make sure there's no scruffling. Anyway, what are you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, do you think they watched Oregon's Cole Hawker, where they said, you know what, maybe rest is overrated. Let's put bowling. Let's have him run as soon as possible, and that happens to be the leadoff leg.
What's he gonna split here? 44, 45 flat split. What did he split?
Man, 4x4 splits are tough. When I was talking to Pete Julian, he brought up an interesting point about putting 800-meter guys on 4x4 and why it's advantageous because they're used to running on the rail, and 400-meter runners, unless they do it in the 4x4, obviously they get experience, but they're used to being out there in lanes. Oh, North Carolina A&T to the front.
Yeah. So 45-28. 45-28 was bowling's split. It's pretty good, man. 45-28. What would that have gotten at in the NCAA final? Because it's a standing start, right?
Mm-hmm.
He would have finished 45-28. Would have been non. He would have got fourth in the 400-meter final if he ran that split.
Yeah.
45-28 would have got fourth.
He's good. I don't know if that's news to you. So Kentucky in front.
Tennessee's lurking.
A&T, Georgia, this is pretty competitive. Isn't that Kentucky in front? Yeah.
Tennessee looking good. Moving up. They were in dead last. Now they're in third, moving up to potentially second. Georgia, A&T going with. Georgia seems to be out of it. Kentucky holding on for dear life. Dude, I remember some crazy 4x4s in indoors where we see some fights go down. That's been some wild times.
There's been some fights. Trevor Stewart with the stick for A&T on
Tennessee in the lead.
Here. Man.
Who is that? Oh, that's Jonathan Socorro?
Yeah, Jonathan Socorro.
He's European.
Yep.
He's European.
He is from Belgium, I believe. And then is that St. Hilaire on the carry for Kentucky? Yeah. And then Trevor Stewart moving into position.
He's moving up. We're going to have a close finish. Stewart on the backstretch making the pass.
Just gobbling up the track.
He's running. He's going to probably run faster here than he did. He's going to run faster here than he did in his Open 4.
I'm telling you, man, the second race is better than the first. Look at St. Hilaire's last 50.
3:03.
Remember in 2018 when people were at 2:59? That was crazy. It was just wild. That was just wild. Okay, so A&T gets the dub. Travis in the chat put a link to, I'm guessing, is this the link to the Oh, he put it in the link to the fight that Gordon was talking about, I believe. But I don't. Yep. Total chaos at indoor track championships. That's the Clemson FSU one involving future NFLer Antonio Cromartie. So if people haven't
Is
seen
that who it
that, it's in the
included?
chat. Yeah, yeah. You've seen that video, right?
I don't
Fenton can tell
remember.
you all about that one. Fenton can relive that one for sure. 44-6 on the anchor for Trevor Stewart. Mighty impressive. Okay, so are we wrapping it now and telling people to come back? And what time are we starting the next one?
5:45.
5:45 Central Time is when we'll start the next one, the women's watch party. And you can find the link on social, also on the website. So final scores here, Gordon. Can we do the final scores?
Yeah, those are the final scores.
They're up.
Well,
79 for Oregon, 56 for LSU, Georgia 35, Florida 34, North Carolina A&T 30. MVP on the men's side, I got to give it to Javon Harrison. It's close, but I got to give it to Javon Harrison.
Okay, hold up here. Does team record matter? Because when we talk about the MVP in basketball, a lot of times who has the leading, whose team is actually winning. So should it be Cole Hawker because Oregon's team won?
No, I already said Javon Harrison because it's a bunch of individuals
Javon Harrison
compiling
led
for
his team to he led his team to a second place finish, whereas Cole Hawker led his team to a win.
There's no ball here. He's not passing the ball. So we got. I'll give him number 1, and I'll give Hawker number 2. Race of the meet. Man, I'm gonna go men's 800 with an honorable mention to the men's 200. The battle between Bowling and Laird. What about you?
Race of the meet, I would say, is the 5K. I thought that was the most interesting one because Kiptu's going out in world record pace. MVP, I would give to, you know what? I'm going to give it to, Hawker. Hawker's MVP. And most surprising result, damn, that's awesome, was I would have to say the Miami, Ohio kid, McFinley, McLear, excuse me, said his name wrong. I think he getting second. He's just a sophomore, going up against Hunter. Gotta give him the most improved player, I guess, of the year. That's what what I would give away. So yeah.
Surprise of the meet. Elijah Goodwin, according to Travis, 44-21 on Georgia's 4x4 there on that anchor leg. So Oregon with the win. As we mentioned, Cole Hawker, just a big hour. Can't get much better than that with his mile and then 3K victory. The Ducks are celebrating. So we'll be back at 5:45 to do the women's live watch party. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks to Alon for producing. We'll see you guys soon.